This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Know-How is brought to you by CacheFly.
This episode of Know-How is brought to you by DigitalOcean. Simple and fast cloud hosting built for developers. Deploy an SSD cloud server in 55 seconds. Try it today for free. Visit DigitalOcean.com, and once you sign up, be sure to enter the promo code KNOWHOW in the billing section to get your $10 credit. And by PillPack, a full-service pharmacy that combines modern technology, convenient packaging, and personalized service to make your life easier. Visit pillpack.com/twit to save $20 on vitamins and OTCs when you transfer your prescriptions.
Today on Know-How, we've got steampunk goggles.
Welcome to Know-How. It's the Twitch show where we build, bend, break, and upgrade. I'm Father Robert Ballecer.
I'm Bryan Burnett.
And for the next 45 minutes or so,
however long Alex allows us.
Exactly. Yeah. We're going to be showing you some of the projects that we've been playing with so you could take them home and geek out on your own.
I feel like you've been geeking out to the extreme here, Padre.
Yes. We've been playing with a project. It's been coming back time and time again. And we finally decided we're going to put the resources in it to make it happen, and that's steampunk goggles.
Yeah, I feel like you're finally letting your creative side out.
Well, by creative side, I hope you mean really, really bad design side, because it's true. My design skills, not so much with the creative.
No, they're good. I like them.
I mean, these are definitely different than what you might be accustomed to if you've seen things in steampunk. Steampunk typically looks a bit more like that, a bit understated, a bit Victorian. I've decided to go a little crazy and turn it into something technologically monstrosity-like.
Which I feel like fits steampunk perfectly.
Right, exactly. It's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be weird. Now, you will remember last week, we did give people the ring STL.
Right, from Tinkercad?
From Tinkercad. And what that allowed them to do is it allowed them to create their own shells. So, like, this has a shell. These are two frames that have been attached to these steampunk goggles that I bought from Amazon for like $8.
Right.
So if you buy one of those goggles, be it black or bronze, or they've got like a camo color or silver, you should be able to hang that ring off of the edge, and anything you design onto that ring will hang onto the frame.
Yeah, so it didn't seem to take you very long to get the measurements right for that and stuff. So you've done like the hard part.
Yeah, exactly. So all the hard work is done. All you have to do is make sure that you create a design that works and that you like. Yeah.
That's where you have to get creative.
You do have to get creative. So ideally, what we're going to be doing over the next 2 weeks is I'm going to be showing you how to put together a completely functional set of these, and we're actually going to add functionality to make it a bit more interesting, but we want you to take our design and then run with it. Change it, make it look better, make it more customized to you, because no one wants to be walking around in the same set of goggles that everyone else has. That's very anti-steampunk.
That kind of defeats the purpose,
that's just punk.
Yeah, that's just punk.
No, you've lost the steam. You're out of steam. Now, there are a few things that I have to mention. These silver goggles, the rings are kind of locked on. I think it's something with the process that they use to put the color on, but if you try to remove the ring, it kind of destroys the goggle.
Really?
Yeah, although it might just be my
plastic.
Yeah, like takes off the varnish. But that just might be the one I got. If you've gotten the black ones, these, if you give it a little twist, you can actually get these off. If you go to the overhead shot here, Alex, and inside, you'll see that there's actually 3 pieces. There's the glass, there's a spacer, and there's the tint. So that's the actual welding glass. You can get different colored glass or different tinted glass so that you could actually wear these inside.
Nice. Now, can you take out the tint and still wear it with it clear?
You can. It kind of juggles around a little bit because it's not the right size to be able to fit snugly into this ring.
Okay.
You could do it. You'd have to add another little spacer. That would be really easy to do in Tinkercad.
Okay. Because I noticed that you can see the LEDs in this in the one you have, but it is a little dark if you were like.
Yeah. Actually, they're super dark. Here, if you go to this side shot here. Sorry,
I dropped it.
Yeah, so what you're seeing there is you're seeing the LEDs show through 2 layers of glass. Now, but I do like that because it also means this. If I disconnect, hold on, let me disconnect the power here. If I disconnect the power, now they look like standard welding goggles. You don't see the LEDs at all. I kind of like that look.
True.
If you remove that tint,
You'll see the LEDs
ring,
behind
right?
it. Yeah.
And yeah, that's again, that's a personal choice.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is we want to give you as much information as possible so that you can take these and customize them the way you want. What we would love is, like, for example, if you show up to Maker Faire or World Maker Faire.
Or DEF CON later in the year.
Bryan and I will be at those events, and, well, we want you to show off your customized goggles.
Yes. Hopefully I'll have some of my own by then.
Yeah.
I have all the tools now.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, I bought you that soldering iron kit for your birthday. I noticed the other day it still has the mounting plastic on it.
It loses value if you take it out of the package. So.
Okay. Let's go ahead and take you through some of the parts that you're definitely going to need if you want to do this.
Okay.
The first thing has got to be the goggles. I mean, now you can go online and you can buy a lot of pre-made goggles, and actually you can buy a decent looking set of goggles for about $20 that have a lot of the elements that we're playing with. They don't light up, but they look nice. My thing, though, is anyone can buy those goggles.
Right.
And if anyone can buy those goggles, why should you buy those goggles?
Kind of defeats the purpose.
Kind of defeats the purpose. These are going to cost you, if you go to the link there, these are vintage steampunk welding goggles. You want this particular link because this particular link will have that little bezel that fits perfectly the STL ring that we've given people.
And would you recommend these for welding? Maybe.
No, I have no. I have a different set for welding that's actually good. What I have for welding is I actually have ones that the welding glass flips away because I don't want to have to take these on and off. I just want to just flip it up and
that makes sense.
I can see. These are very inexpensive. I would suggest you buy 2 sets just because you're probably going to.
If you bork one.
Yeah, if you bork one, that's bad. But also, after you build the first one, you're going to want to build the second one. Like me, you've got the prototype, and once you get the prototype, you're like, oh, you know what?
I can improve that.
Yeah, I can make that better. The second thing you're going to need are some gears. Now, I haven't installed these yet, but these are these things. They definitely make steampunk designs.
They're
I
just
love
little brass gears.
Little brass gears. And these weren't that expensive. We have a link for that too, Alex. Just go to Amazon. You can buy yourself a big old bag for about $5. And then you just take the styles that you want, and these are purely for decorations. I'm not going to make these active at all, at least not in this version.
Okay, cool.
I could. I mean, if I really wanted to.
Yeah, make them rotate around and spin or something.
Kind of cool. You also want this. This is a magnifying loop. Now, if you look at this one, this is a double loop. Now, the idea is that, again, it's just it's a visual element. They really don't work all that well.
But it does add to the effect.
It does add to the effect. Now, there's a double, and that's, of course, it's plated in a gold cover. And then this, if you hold this camera for me, this is actually a triple, and this is more the metallic look.
Ah, yeah, silver.
Yeah, go ahead and hit that up. Now, one of the things that you'll notice, all of these, because they basically been manufactured to the same design, cloned, copied, this part can be removed. You unscrew that little clip, because normally that's where you clip it onto the edge of the glasses.
Right.
What we've done is, and you'll see this next week when we actually show you what we did with the 3D design, we designed the housing so that you can remove the clip and
then
it goes straight in. Right.
Nice.
So rather than clipping it to the edge of the housing, it becomes part of the housing.
Cool.
Yeah, so get yourself
integrated.
One of those.
So, would you use these for something anyway? Like,
I mean, they do kind of work if you use them properly. I'm very improperly using them.
Ah, I see. Yeah. So if you're like really working with something up close, huh?
Really close. Yeah, not so much. The next part that you're going to need is an Arduino. And you could actually use the big Arduino that we've been playing with, Arduino
right,
Uno.
But you don't got a lot of space on these.
Not a lot of space. We don't want to be carrying that big of a microcontroller. And also, we know what we want this to do. The reason why you get the big one is because you want breadboarding, right?
Right, you want options.
You want options, you want to play. We have a specific use for this board. It's only going to be used for this. We're not taking it out, using it for something else. So I would suggest either a Nano or a Mini Pro. So here we've got a Nano. This is what it looks like in its packaging. This actually has the same chip as that big one, as the Arduino Uno.
It just doesn't have the breakout board and stuff?
It doesn't have the breakout board. It doesn't supply as much power, so if you wanted to run your experiments off of this.
I see.
But I will program this exactly the same way as I programmed the big Arduino Uno. Now, if you want to get even smaller, if space is a constraint, you could go with something like this. I do prefer to have the USB port already on there, just because that's one less thing I have to worry about.
Right.
This, I'd have to use like a USB to serial DTI type thing.
Okay, so a little bit more work.
But it is smaller, so if you're really dealing with space constraints, you can get this and smaller.
It's barely smaller, but yeah, that's cool.
A little bit. Okay. The next piece is the rings. So this is this. It's a WS2812 ring. This is a 16-bit, 16 LED. If you turn it around, the reason why I say order it from the link that I have, and actually let me use this, is because, if you switch over, is because notice how this has 6 pads.
Right.
There's a lot of these on eBay that have 4 pads. They have ground, voltage, in and out. I want it this way, and you'll see this during our build, because this does make it a little bit easier for you to actually do the soldering.
Okay.
Yeah. And the nice thing about this is, if you look, this does fit exactly into the cup.
It just drops in. Yeah.
And that's as large as you can get and still have it fit comfortably in there. Any smaller and it will be jostling around. And again, I have made a 3D printed
little mount
that it sticks it in there. No adhesive, no nothing, it just stays.
That's cool.
Yeah. And also you're gonna need a little bit of wire and you're gonna need a little bit of battery power. So what I've done is I've gone to Ready to Fly quads. This is their 30 gauge silicone wire. This is perfect. You want silicone wire because you don't want it warping under high temperatures. It's you know, this was super cheap. I got 3 lengths of it for like $2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing. And
yeah,
this will make like 3 sets of goggles. So yeah, it's all good. That's inexpensive, but you also need batteries. Now we've been using these. Do you recognize these?
I do recognize. Those are the same batteries we've been using with the Simas.
Yeah, these are we've been using for the SEMA X5. That's a 600 milliamp battery. Now what I did was I went to Banggood, and I bought a pack of 5 for, it was $18, and it included this. This is the multi-charging harness.
Yeah.
And what I did was I just desoldered it. I just took it apart because that becomes, these are the pieces I'm going to need when I'm actually assembling.
Right, connecting and deconnecting the batteries.
Exactly. So I kept the charger so I could still charge 1 battery at a time, but I also get the added benefit of having multiple leads. So I can screw up or I can make multiple goggles.
Yeah, I can see that you desoldered these.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's actually the most expensive part. If you've got all that, then you could do this entire build for something like 20 bucks. Without it, it's going to cost you $50, but that's the first time. And then the second set of goggles costs you 20.
So what you're saying is we should buy everything in bulk. So
we should buy a lot.
You should buy,
all of
like
them.
5 goggles worth of stuff.
We should just call up that eBay store and say, hey, you know what, just send us everything you got.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And then the extra ones you have, you just sell on Etsy or something.
Right, exactly, right? Yeah. Now, coming up next, we're going to actually show you how to put this together. We're going to build the electronics and let you play with your more creative fire and solder side. But before we do that, let's go ahead and thank the sponsor of this episode of Know How. Hey, Brian, let me ask you a question.
What's that?
When you put up a website,
yeah,
when you put up a service, when you put up an app, what was the old way of doing it?
A lot of research to make it work.
Exactly. You had to make sure that you had the right vendor, you had the right supplier, the right colo. You had to make sure that you contracted with the right ISP.
Yep.
Probably gotten some payment processor because at some point you're going to want to monetize your site or your app, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you could do that still. You could waste all that time and waste all those resources trying to get yourself up and running on the internet.
Is there something else I could use?
Yeah, it's called DigitalOcean. Now, DigitalOcean makes having a presence on the internet so much simpler. They use these things called droplets, which are containerized application services. It allows you to take anything that you need to run on the internet and put it into one neat package that can be run on a single CPU, across multiple CPUs, across multiple continents. Now, we use DigitalOcean here because it is the easiest, the best way to get your services on the internet. I use it. Aaron Newcomb uses it. It's just one of these things that developers understand you want when you're developing that next big idea. Now, DigitalOcean, whether you are developing a website or working on a server-based project, you do need a flexible, reliable, and affordable hosting provider, and that's going to be DigitalOcean. You get these droplets that are streamlined to work on a control panel or a simple API. You get to choose your OS: Ubuntu, CentOS, Debian, Fedora, CoreOS, and FreeBSD. You can select from one of the many pre-configured one-click installs like Drupal or Docker or Node.js. You get up and running quickly, and you build the infrastructure you want rather than deal with the infrastructure that you have. It's highly scalable. You can take that single droplet and expand it, or just host it for a few hours so you can see what it looks like in the real world. Maybe give the link to a couple of your friends and get them to throw some real-world traffic at you. Now, they've got an extremely active community, and this is one of the things that I look for anytime I'm personally shopping for a provider. I want to know if their current customers enjoy the service, if they think that it's worth it. And that's what an active community indicates. That's exactly what DigitalOcean has. Oh, now, it's easy to get started. You can deploy your own SSD cloud server in as little as 55 seconds. Folks, if If you do any development, if you do anything, any kind of deploying on the internet, heck, if you want to make your own Minecraft server, DigitalOcean is the easiest, fastest way to do it. I love it. I know you will too. Now, DigitalOcean has incredibly affordable and straightforward pricing with servers starting at just $5 per month. There's also hourly pricing available starting at less than a penny per hour. But we're going to make it so that you can get started today and deploy an SSD cloud server for free. Visit DigitalOcean.com and create an account. Once you confirm your email and account, go to the billing section and enter the promo code KNOWHOW for a free $10 credit. That's plenty to get started, and you can explore what DigitalOcean can do for you. Once again, that's DigitalOcean.com, DigitalOcean.com, and once you sign up, enter the code KNOWHOW, KNOWHOW, in the billing section to get your $10 credit for free. We thank DigitalOcean for their support of Know-How. Hey, Bryan.
What's up?
Want to get building?
Yes. Yeah. We've got everything we need on the table.
We do?
We've seen this final product.
We have?
Now, I'm curious how you were able to get everything to fit in there.
We'll find out as soon as Alex pushes that magic button. Project Steampunk starts with the goggles, WS2812 rings, silicone wire, some heat shrink tubing, a Dremel, a soldering kit, an Arduino Nano, battery, and battery harness. The first step is to decouple the two goggle cups. Gently pull on the bridge strap until it slips from one of the cups. You should now have two cups, which will be much easier to manipulate than the set. Besides, we're going to add a piece of heat shrink tubing to the bridge, so we would need to eventually separate them at some point in the build. We might as well do it now. The trickiest part of this build will be getting the power and data lines into the eye cups without destroying the look of the goggles. We're going to drill a rat hole at the bottom of the bridge next to the nose cutout. We want to drill at an angle. It should keep the wiring out of eyesight while also letting us hide excess wire in the 3D printed housing. Using a Dremel with a spear bit, drill from the outside in. Go slowly. If you break through the interior wall and touch the lens, there's a good chance that you'll permanently damage the look. The hole needs to be big enough for 6 strands of 30-gauge silicone wire. Test by running 6 strands, just to make sure it will fit. You don't want to have to drill again after you start running the electronics into the goggles. Let's talk about our game plan for the electronics. We have two WS2812 rings with 16 LEDs each. They fit perfectly into the cups, and we now have the rat holes we need to run the wiring. Looking at the back of each ring, you'll see 6 soldering pads. Top to bottom, GND or ground, VCC voltage, out, in, VCC, and ground. These pads will allow us to pass voltage and data from one ring to the next. Power can come from either side, so we simply need to connect one ring's data out to the next ring's data in. However, we're not doing a straight-through installation with power and data coming from the same side. The Arduino will be on the right side, while the battery will be on the left. That means that power needs to be daisy-chained from the battery to the left cup to the right cup to the Arduino, while data needs to be chained from the Arduino to the right cup to the left cup. You'll need to cut the following lengths of wire. For red and black, 2 6-inch lengths each, and 1 8-inch length each. For the white wire, or whatever color you're using for data, 1 6-inch length and 1 8-inch length. Cut, strip, and tin your lengths. Then prep the pads on the LED rings by flowing a dollop of solder onto each pad. Make sure to heat the pad, not the solder, and let it flow onto the pad. This will ease our soldering job later in the build. Cut a piece of 1/4-inch black heat shrink tubing that is slightly shorter than the length of the bridge strap. This is what will hide the wires running across that strap. Take the 3 8-inch lengths of red, black, and white silicone wire and run them through the heat shrink tubing. Then make sure that the tubing will still fit over the bridge piece with the wires inside towards the back of the bridge. If they don't fit, your heat shrink tubing is undersized and needs to be replaced. Run the wires through the rat hole in the left cup, then reconnect the bridge. Now get to soldering the LED ring for the left cup. The power can go through either set of points, so just make sure that the red wire is soldered to VCC and the black wire to ground. The white wire is a little trickier. We need the data to go from the Arduino to the right cup to the left cup. So make sure that you solder the data wire to the in pad on this ring. When we connect the other end of the data line to the out pad on the other ring, it will complete the daisy chain. Now, take 2 6-inch wires, one black and one red, and run them through the left cup rat hole. Solder the red one to the remaining VCC pad and the black one to the remaining GND pad. Check your work and make sure that the solder joints are solid. Remember that these wires will be close to your eyes, so you don't want stray wires snapping off inside your goggles. Also, make sure that you haven't bridged any of the pads. Once you're satisfied with your joints, place the LED ring inside the cup and draw back the slack wire. The power source will be stored in the left 3D printed frame, and we're using a male battery connector that we cut from our multi-charging harness. Connect the black and red leads of the charging plug to the remaining black and red leads that we ran through the left cup rat hole. Draw the slack wire through the heat shrink tubing and run the 3 wires into the right cup rat hole. Then solder black to G and D, red to VCC, and white to out. Run the remaining 6-inch lengths of black, red, and white wire through the right cup rat hole, then solder red to VCC, black to G and D, and white to in. These 3 wires will deliver power to the Arduino and data from the Arduino to both LED rings. Once again, check your solder joints for connection and bridging, then place the LED ring inside the cup. The final step is to connect our Arduino Nano. Looking at the Arduino from the top with the USB port on the left side, solder the black wire to the G and D or ground through hole, the red wire to the VIN or voltage in, and the white data line to D3. Once you've inspected your solder joints and double-checked all your connections, it's time for the moment of truth. Connect the 3.7-volt battery pack to the battery connector, and you should see the LED rings briefly flash, and the power light on the Arduino should come on. If that happens, you're ready to program. So this has been kind of fun. I mean, here's what the completed assembly looks like. You've got your Arduino here.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is, if you go to the outside shot here, Alex, there we go. So we've got the Arduino. I'm only using 3 lines. So I've got the red line, the black line, and then the white line. That's just providing power to my Arduino.
Right.
Which is actually reversed from what we normally did. Remember, we were using these pins to get power out. And then we'll go both directions. If I was providing, in fact, if I provide power in through this USB port, it actually pushes power the other way.
Okay.
So I can power this off of a battery or off of a USB. Do not power it off both at the same time.
Why would that be a bad thing?
Because you could actually make the LiPo explode.
Is that like crossing the streams?
It's worse than crossing the streams. It means you're reversing charge into a lithium polymer battery.
Oh, okay.
Don't do that.
Bad idea. Okay, cool.
Or actually, no, the worst case scenario is you get a surge and it comes back through your USB port. Yeah, just don't.
Probably not something you want when you're wearing it on your face.
Don't do that. But then everything else is pretty exactly as you saw it. We go from here to the right cup to the left cup, and then out here we've got the battery connector.
Nice.
Now this is a super simple version of this. We are going to be doing more complicated versions in the future. Like I want a couple that are controlled by switches and knobs, so I can control how bright it is or when it's on or off.
That's what I want to do. I want to use one of these little brass guys to like dial in the brightness or change the color and stuff like that.
That's completely doable. But we just wanted to make sure the electronics were up and running, because no matter what we change, this part is going to be pretty much the same, because that's the electronics that drive the LEDs.
That's cool.
Right. Now, in just a second, we're going to show you how to actually program this. And believe it or not,
can we plug it in?
We can plug it in, but this is something you've done before.
What?
It really is.
Okay. Yeah. I'll take your word for it.
Take my word for it. But you know what else you're not going to take from me?
What's that?
My pills.
Pills?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to stay healthy, huh?
I do. Well, the funny thing about pills is this. We all know that we need to take whatever medications or vitamins it is that we need to take. Like right now, my doctor is screaming at me to take B12 or something. It's like,
is that a fighter plane?
His exact words, and I've had this doctor my entire life, so 48 years, ever since I was in high school or so. And he said, you've got the lowest vitamin B count I've ever seen in a living person. I'm like, oh. Okay.
How are you still alive?
Yeah. Oh, vitamin B deficiency is that's kind of the badge of honor for our generation, because we never go outside anymore. Sorry, folks, that's true.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Yeah, and the thing is, I've got that, and along with the other vitamins I have to take, and the old people pills that I have now, because yes, I am of that age, and they're in my pill minder. I have a little box.
Right, the Saturday through Sunday thing.
Well, but see, that's the one my parents use. Mine is super high tech. It actually has an alarm that tells me when I'm supposed to take. I still don't.
Yeah, you still ignore it.
Actually, my favorite is when it rings, but then I forgot to fill it, and I'm like, I'll do it.
But if you had it in little...
If I had it in little strips, it would make things so much easier. That's exactly what PillPack does. Now, PillPack it's a simpler pharmacy. It's a better way for you to get your medications, your vitamins, your OTCs, pretty much everything that you need to make sure that you take. Now, if you've ever had that same problem that I have, where you're not sure if you've took your pills, or you don't have a really easy way to make sure that you're always filling up your box, that's why you need PillPack. PillPack will pack and deliver your medication and vitamins in these nice little pre-sorted packages. Oh, they're separate for each customer, which means you get to customize it. And then robots. They actually have robots that will go and pick and pull and pack your medications. Each package dispensed in a pharmacy is sent through an image recognition system that they built to ensure that the right pill is in the right pack. And I actually trust a robot a lot more than I'll trust a person for that. Their system can detect dispensing accuracy by size, shape, color, and the density of each pill. And then it catalogs an image of every single packet dispensed, so you can always go back and find out exactly what was in your pill pack. In addition, each packet is checked by a pharmacist for accuracy and interactions prior to shipment. Now, if you ever have any questions, their pharmaceutical staff is available to you 24/7 from the privacy of your own home. No more going to the pharmacy at weird hours and having that awkward silence between you and the pharmacist while you try to get the information that you need. They proactively contact your doctor to manage your refills for you so that you'll never run out. And switching is easy. They'll actually take care of everything, from taking care of insurance so you're not stuck with a huge bill, to making sure that you get the right medications. There's no extra cost beyond your standard copays, and shipping is always free. It's been recognized by Time magazine as a top 25 invention. In fact, Jill Duffy gave it a great review in PC Magazine, who named PillPack an editor's choice for health services. There's also a PillPack medication reminder app for your iPhone and your Apple Watch, so that you'll have a bit of technology telling you when it's time to take your next dosage. Now, PillPack has brought the pharmacy into the digital age. We want to bring that digital age of health to you. So here's what I want you to do. Visit pillpack.com/twit. That's pillpack.com/twit to sign up now. Their site is beautiful, and it only takes 5 minutes for you to sign up. And when you use our link and transfer your prescriptions to PillPack, you'll get a credit for $20 worth of vitamins and OTCs. That's pillpack.com/twit. Pillpack.com/twit. And we thank PillPack for their support of Know How. So Bryan, let's go ahead and jump into this.
Yes.
Because we want to show people how to actually program this.
Right, but I have a feeling this is very similar to something we've done before.
Super similar. It's actually very similar to the Christmas lights example that we did a couple of weeks back, right?
Right.
That was an Arduino controlling a strip of WS2812. This is an Arduino controlling rings of WS2812. And as long as they've soldered it properly so that you go from the data line of one to the data line of the other,
shouldn't be a problem.
This shouldn't be a problem.
Cool. You just need to dial in the number of LEDs and a couple other things.
Brightness, so on and so forth. Now, there is one little thing that's going to be different, which is this is normally a 5-volt circuit. So the USB provides 5 volts. The Arduino runs on 5 volts. The WS2812 LEDs run on 5 volts.
Right.
But because we're using a single-cell lithium polymer battery, we're actually providing 3.7 volts.
So less than what we need?
A little less than what these will run. They've got a tolerance of about, I think this will go from 3 volts to 8 volts for the Arduino, and it will go from 3 volts to 6 volts for the WS2812, which is why I can't use 2 of these in series, because otherwise it would overvolt the WS2812 lights and you'd blow them out.
And you wouldn't want to use the USB and the battery at the same time.
You really wouldn't. No, that would bad things. Bad things would happen. Don't do that. Okay. But let's go and look at my screen, because what we've got here is we've actually got, this is the code from Know How 173. In fact, if you look really closely, you could see that I just have KH173 09-100 lines. This was the example we gave at the end that combined a bunch of different animations that made those little strips work properly, and made and actually I use this for my Christmas lights, that string of 50 Christmas lights. This is a nice demonstrator of what WS2812 can do, but in this particular case, we're going to modify it so that it will work properly on our rings.
Cool.
All right, let me show you how really quickly.
Let's dig in.
So again, I'm just taking the code that I already have. So if you've got this code, you can use the same code that you had last time. If not, we've got the links in the show notes so you can download it. Take a look at this. The first part is the data pin. Now, if you do use an older version, you're probably going to have it set for data pin of 7. Digital data pin.
Right.
That's the pin that the Arduino uses to push out commands to the WS2812.
Yeah, that's why you had them soldered to the D3.
Yeah, here I had it soldered to the D3. So I get this question every once in a while when people they download the code, it doesn't work. If you've got the older version is set for D7. You need to change that to D3. Okay. That's a very simple change, but if you don't, it means that the Arduino will be pushing out to the wrong pin, nothing will happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It won't break anything, it's just nothing will happen. So we're going to go ahead and change that to 3. The other part that we do need to change is the number of LEDs. Now, I have this set for 32. If you had the previous example, it would have been set for 50 or 150.
I see.
that's not bad. It just means it's trying to address LEDs it doesn't have.
So will that throw off the animation that you have?
It won't throw off the animation, but it will make the animation less interesting, because the way that this works is it sets the animation to work over the number of LEDs you have. So if you cut it off, you're only getting like the first part of the animation.
Right, okay.
Right, which would be lame.
Yeah.
Remember, we've got 2 rings, each with 16 LEDs.
Okay.
And again, if you soldered it properly to the Arduino, it will look like one continuous ring of LEDs.
Okay, so we need to put in 32?
Right, so we're gonna put 32 here. The other thing you might wanna mess with is this, brightness and the frames per second. This will determine how quickly the animation will run and how bright the animation is gonna be. Now, I turned mine down because the little flange that I printed to go inside the goggles, not completely effective at blocking the back scatter. So if it's too bright,
you start to blind yourself.
you blind yourself, which is not a good thing. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to go to 100, and I'm actually going to increase the speed of the animation. I don't know if this will actually work, but let's make it 240 frames a second. I think I might actually be breaking something here. Now, we know that the rest of the code works because we've pulled this off of an actual working demonstration.
Right.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and upload this. And it's going to compile the sketch like we did before. Remember, what we're looking for are those little white lines down below here in this box that will tell us that the code compiled correctly. And as soon as it's done compiling, it's going to go ahead and start uploading. Oh, there we go.
Do you need to set it into boot mode on the Arduino?
I have to tell it where the board is. So yeah, I'm on COM port 5 here. So I'm going to COM port 5, and let's go ahead and upload.
Cool.
There we go. Something that you want to remember when you're programming your Arduino is you're not going to destroy it. So play around.
It depends on what you do to it, Padre.
Yeah, it's uploading right now. But play around with it. So try to change bits of code. If it doesn't work, change it back.
Right.
This is the best way for you to learn how to code, which is to experiment. So it's done uploading. So if we go ahead and decide here, there we go. Now we've got. So yeah, we're in the burn animation. This is going to show a bunch of different animations. I'm going from the burn to the sparkle, and then it's going to start doing like the wave where you have a single LED that goes around and around and around. This is the exact same code that we used when we did our Christmas lights.
That looks cool.
Yeah, right?
And so changing it to, what did you change it to? 240 frames per second?
240 frames per second. If I wanted it to go slower, like I actually kind of like that. What I want to do is I want to change this animation so that it looks like a single light is like doing a figure 8 on the goggles.
Oh, that would be cool.
I was messing around with it last night. I just couldn't get it right. It never looked right for me.
So a little trial and error is required.
A little trial and error. But this animation package is a great place to start because you don't have to do anything. You just tell it how bright you want it. You tell it how many LEDs you have. You tell it how fast you want it to go, and it will go.
Nice.
Yeah. But this is just a test, Brian.
Just a test?
Just a test, because what we're going to be doing next week is we're going to be taking this, we're going to show them how this fits into the 3D printed enclosure that we made, because right now, this is kind of a hot mess. You don't want to wear this on yourself because, well, I mean, A, it's connected to a computer, but even once I disconnect that, once I hook it up to a voltage source, this ain't exactly sexy. Actually, I could electrocute myself right now. So yeah, and that's not a good look. Where's the camera? This is not something that you want for your.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
No, I'm scraping my microphone now. But yeah, we're going to show you how to use the 3D frame on this, and then we're also going to show you over the next few weeks, because we're going to keep revisiting our steampunk repertoire, because we also have a hat we need to do out. But we're going to add controls to this. I want to add analog controls so I can change the animation at will. Yep. I want to be able to connect it to my phone so that I can change it via an application on my phone.
So have like a Bluetooth module or something?
A little Bluetooth module. And there is one more thing that I really, really want to do with this.
Laser beams.
No, well, yeah, the laser would be cool. But I want to add NFC. And the idea is you can actually bump it with another set of goggles and exchange information. It's so stupid, but... yeah.
It's like you see someone else with the goggles, you're like, I like that animation you got here.
I just want to do it. I can't help myself. I got it. Folks, we're going to make sure that you have all the code that you need. So the links to that software package are already on the show notes. Just go to episode 173. I'm going to give you a version for this project that's programmed the proper way. But if you just want to play around, download the older one and see if you can make it work properly. Because there's nothing more satisfying than making something that's not working into something that actually is working.
Yes, I actually want to go downstairs and start working on this right now.
Yeah, well, we've got all the parts. So.
Sweet.
Oh, wait. Web 7497 says maybe we can put turn signals on it.
That's a good idea. I like it. Put some brake lights on the back.
Oh.
What's your idea now?
I want brake lights on the hat. And then just like an accelerometer, so if it
Right.
an automatic, so that if it feels you turning, it turns on your turn signals, back up.
And
like,
it leaves it on for a while. Yeah. Watch out, Padre's coming in.
Know how. Our stupidity knows no bounds.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Folks, we know that this was a lot of information. Don't worry, I've given step-by-step instructions. Also, check the YouTube channel, youtube.com/knowhow, because for those people who are having trouble with the soldering, if you really feel uncomfortable, I'm going to take you through a real-time soldering project. I'm actually going to do another set of this this weekend, and I'm going to do it with no skips, no editing. So you'll be able to see the whole process, because we do kind of have to shrink it down whenever we do that sort of montage thing.
I could see if this was your first soldering project, you might have a little trouble, because it's pretty tiny wires and stuff. But
it's tiny wires, and yeah, you can kill things. Like if you try to pump voltage through the data line, you could blow out your WS2812s. And yeah, no, that's not fun.
And then that'll make you sad.
It's not going to kill anyone. This is not high voltage, and these are not really expensive parts. But if you have any issues, go ahead and check out youtube.com/knowhow, and I'll take you through a real time. We'll have a nice little chat. Yeah. Also, don't forget that you can find all of our show notes, including the notes for this show. Where again, Brian?
Twit.tv/KH, and you can download past episodes as well. But yeah, if you go through our show notes, you'll find all the links to everything we talked about today, along with the code that you will need to download to make these guys work.
Yeah. And don't forget that you can find us on Google+. It's sort of our home on the socials. We've got close to 10,000 members of the community. It is by, not invitation, but it's by approval. So just ask to join, and within 24 hours, I'll approve. It's just we had to get rid of all the spam accounts.
Yeah.
Go figure.
You got to moderate the community.
We did, kind of. It is a great place to get ideas for projects. It's a great idea to help people. If you are an experienced DIYer or a maker, jump in and share your experience with everybody else.
Well, and especially for a project like this, you might have an idea that you want to share with people, show off your project, or maybe you can get ideas from other people.
Exactly. Now, that's not the only place you're going to find us on the internets.
No, if you want a behind-the-scenes look at what we're doing when we're not on Know How, or maybe what upcoming projects, you can find us on Twitter, and I am at @cranky_hippo.
And I am at PadreSJ. And our director, Jim.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Jim, he's dead.
Yeah,
he's
you
dead.
can find him at
he's dying a little bit right now.
ANELF3. He's really not feeling good, folks.
I feel great.
He sounds great, you know? I actually thought it was a different person TDing.
He's gonna get sick. Well, folks, that's some words from our director, Mr. Plague Gumbel. Gumbel?
He might not be with us long, so follow him on Twitter.
Yeah. Until next time, I'm Father Robert Ballecer.
And I'm Bryan Burnett.
And now that you know how,
build it.